Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Tundu Abiola.
Good morning. Welcome back. I am Veronica Odeka.
And welcome back. I'm Biola Labi.
Dr. Teju Bolujoko has 26 years' experience in applying new methods and technologies to improve work processes and obtaining high-revenue food products in a changing environment. He also has a 35-year management, technical, and operational experience in the chemical and food industry. In 1988, Dr. Bolujoko received from the federal government the National Productivity Merit Award for work done that resulted in the industrial use of sorghum in the manufacture of confectionery. Dr. Teju Bolujoko is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Ruch Investment and Manufacturing Ltd. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Happy
Good
to
morning.
be here.
It's a pleasure to
Good
have
morning.
you.
Good morning.
So please give us and the audiences at home a background of Ruch Investments and what you produce and what you do.
Thank you very much. Ruch Investment actually produces tea because we believe that tea is one vehicle that we can use to correct some of the things that indeed are wrong with the body.
Health.
Now, because we produce tea using things like Moringa,
Okay.
ginger, hibiscus, turmeric.
Do you have the teas here today?
This is very interesting. I would like to have a
Okay,
tea.
we want to have a look, and
Yes,
we're going to have some
yes,
tea
yes.
today.
Yes. And so, because if you look at some of the ingredients that go into this tea, they are the ingredients that the body needs. Because they are ingredients that actually help us to tackle some of the issues and problems that come up with age, come up with lifestyle, and come up with the issues that people face in the day-to-day living. Take, for example, Moringa. Moringa is is a gift to Africa, really.
It's a superfood.
It's a
a global superfood. Yes.
Because it contains, if you look at it, you find out that Moringa contains a lot more isolates of protein than even cow milk. And so you have something in Moringa that God has more or less like given to us to be able to help us to grow.
And Moringa grows in Nigeria,
In Nigeria,
without any help.
every part of Nigeria,
Yeah.
Moringa grows.
Amazing.
The first time I saw the use of Moringa was many years ago. I was on an Air France flight.
Okay.
And what happened was the fact that they were developing in East Africa. You know that when you are on the flight, they say if you have any loose change, please put the money there. So they were using that as a means of helping the community. And what they were doing was the fact that they got some farmers who are growing Moringa and processing them and packing them in 2 gram packs and distributing in schools.
Oh.
This was to help in combating things like malnutrition and all those things. And really, I think that we have in Moringa something that can help all across Nigeria. And if you look at the north, it's one of the things that has been used over the many, many years. But the important thing now is the fact that as people migrate to the urban areas, there's less opportunity to use this.
Yes.
Not only that, you have to make sure that you present to them in a way that they can continuously, conveniently use this Moringa for the benefit of the body.
So I see that, your tea has miraculously arrived.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a selection of your tea.
Yes.
We have the Moringa tea here, ginger and turmeric,
And Moringa seed. Can we take it out?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's
morning
take it out.
herbal. It's quite a selection.
So these are
This is
Moringa
Moringa seed.
seeds. Oh, this
Moringa-
is what they look like. Okay.
Moringa seeds very, very interesting in the sense that
Hibiscus.
the price of Moringa seeds have gone so much high. Why? Because the Chinese have found out that it helps in a way to tackle the issues of lung cancer. You know, smoking in China is very high.
Yeah.
And so what they do with this actually is that they make it into cigarette and they smoke it, and it actually eats in lung cancer.
So I
now,
feel like this is
we export a good bit of this to South Africa.
So,
And in
okay.
South Africa, what they do actually is because it's good for control of high blood pressure.
So you export this as well?
Yes, yes.
See, Tuzu, we found something else we
Yes,
export in
an
Nigeria.
export.
We've been talking about the things that
Excellent.
we export to other places. What about the teas? What else do you export? So you export this.
We are looking at export into Europe, America, particularly for our teas. We have had the privilege of actually joining the NEPC and the CL conference that Paris CL that just ended last month. And we were chosen as one of the 20 companies that NEPC has taken there as a means of looking at how to export Nigeria to Europe.
To the world.
To the world.
Do you produce any of these teas for other companies and they label them? Do you do any private label, as they call it?
We are discussing with other companies on the possibilities of private label. There are some our facilities being used by other companies as well. We have because if you have an opportunity, if I just mention how I got my first machine, I was retiring from Cadbury, and I went to an exhibition in Germany, and I saw a machine that packs tea. I've always been interested in tea for decades.
Cadbury started off as a tea house.
Yes, tea house also. And so I just, there was this Italian who said, look, I've never gotten any of my machines in Africa, and I want to have a machine in Africa.
Wow.
And so he offered me a machine, and I said, well, I don't have money. He said, don't worry, you just pay when you have.
Oh, that's impressive.
So you just gave your
That was
machine?
such goodwill.
That's
And that's how you started your
That's how I
tea?
started.
But can I ask you, I've seen you have this refreshing tea. This is black tea.
Yes.
We're talking about exporting your Moringa
Yes.
seeds to
Yes.
China. Darjeeling, Ceylon, Assam, those are famous teas from all
Yes.
over the world. We have Mambila tea that's
Yes.
supposedly the best in the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
but we don't export it.
Now, this is Mambila tea.
This is Mambila
This
tea. That's the
Mambila
best
tea.
tea in the world, supposedly.
Because it's very low in caffeine. If you look at the caffeine content, you find that the caffeine content is 0.02%, which is, if you compare that with all the teas in the market, you find that much higher in caffeine. Some hospitals actually are telling people, don't take this tea because
Yes.
of the level of caffeine content in there.
Wow.
And so Mambila tea is what we pack, and it's very low in caffeine, and is adjudged to be the best tea in the world.
Why haven't we been able to capitalize on Mambila tea? We grow it in plateau state.
Yes. Now, I think it's just one of the malice of Nigeria, really. Because if you look at it, if you talk about some countries, if you talk about Colombia, they will say coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
If you talk about some other countries...
Even
they-
Nairobi, if you talk about
Nairobi,
Kenya, sorry, if you talk about
yes,
Kenya,
they say
people say
tea.
tea,
Yes.
tea, yes.
If you talk about Ceylon,
Yes.
they say tea.
Yes.
Now, there are some countries that have a lot of challenges, much more than we have. But because they have presented themselves and presented what they are able to offer to the world,
Yes.
what happens actually is that people forget about all those things and mention the things that indeed
Like
they are offering to
Colombia,
the
we
world.
don't
Which,
think about
yes.
their cartels, we
Yes,
think about their
think about their
coffee.
coffee.
Yes.
Now, what is happening actually is that in Mambila Plateau, we have enough land, we have enough weather condition that could make Nigeria the highest exporter of tea in Africa. But it's still an opportunity, it's still there, and
An opportunity laying fallow.
Yes.
So, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to probably come back to this, but quickly, when we introduced you, we talked about the production and manufacturing
yes.
atmosphere and some of the challenges in Nigeria. As someone who you retired from Cadbury for many years, you were just exploring the world. Now you got into this manufacturing.
Yes.
From your experience at Cadbury and your experience now, when you look at the manufacturing atmosphere in Nigeria, how would you rate it?
Well, I think that there are some key issues that are underlying issues that must be resolved if we are going to actually project manufacturing in Nigeria. And the most important one is power. if you look at the level of capacity we have, if you look at South Africa has a population of about 50 million.
45, yes.
55 million. They have a generating capacity of 50,000 megawatts. Egypt has a population of 90 million. They have a generating capacity of 35,000 megawatts. Nigeria has a population of 190, 200 million. We have currently now a generating capacity of 7,000 megawatts. And so you can see that there is already a big deficit.
Yes.
And the cost of manufacturing increases because the people that are supplying the packaging material, they're using generators. The people that are supplying the raw materials you are using, pre-processing it, they're using generators. You that are supplying, you are running, you're using generators. And so what happens is the fact that there is a multiplicity of costs. Mm-hmm. And these costs make us uncompetitive. Mm. And so there is a big, if only we can resolve the issue of power, Nigeria will be in a different stratosphere.
Because right now you have the G20, all the world's leading industrialized nations have converged in Argentina. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. No. We should be industrialized at this stage.
Yes. Now, that is one key thing. The second one is access to finance. Mm. And I think that I would say that the government is doing quite a bit in this area now. And they ought to do more, but they are doing quite a bit.
Mm. On that access to finance, a couple of months ago we had, when the CBN changed the CRR, which is basically about for banks to be able to loan to the manufacturing sector at almost a single digit loans. I wanted to ask you, as someone in that space, have you seen an increase in disbursement of loans from banks based on the new CBN interest rate? And do you feel like they're making progress? Because what we did was we actually had a couple of MDs of banks in here. They said they were ready to go. They were rearing up. So it's actually exciting to have you here as someone, as a practitioner.
That's actually very good because, incidentally, I just finished a program with Sterling Bank yesterday, in which we were about 260. Running the program for 1 week. Manufacturers of different makes, some just starting, some already working. And it is to be able to access the 10 million naira loan from the Bankers Committee, which we are talking about, at 5% interest rate.
Yeah, 5%.
And now, this is the sort of thing that really a manufacturing outfit would need. Yes. It's a 5% interest rate with a maybe 5 years, 7 years payback time with the necessary moratorium. This is the thing that actually will help get the manufacturing. Not only for people that are already in manufacturing, but also for people that are starting off. These are things that indeed are long overdue, but I think that we should be happy that it's happening now. Some are already getting disbursed.
Okay.
And so there is a good sign there that within 3 months to 4 months or 5 months, depending on how you prepare yourself.
And it's 5% even with service fees and everything. It's 5%.
5%.
That's amazing.
That's a good one.
So, that's actually quite positive. I'm happy to hear this because a lot of times when we have the different guests that come on the show and they present a lot of things, half of the issues always stem back to government and what can be done. And so a lot of times we're always looking for ways
to be able to tell the good story. And bring back the other side of the story, because we did bring in the MD of Fidelity, we brought in the chairman of, I think, UBA. We brought in quite a number of people when this happened, and CBN was approving this for the agriculture and manufacturing sector. So it is good to come back and actually say, as someone, that it's happening.
It is happening.
Fantastic. So what's next now? What other products? I mean, first of all, where can people get these?
Yes.
Now, we have this in some of the supermarkets, Spar, Just Right, a lot of goodies, Grand Square, we have the top.
So you're in most Nigerian stores, and it's
Yes.
Master Tea. People should look for Master Tea.
Master Tea is it.
So my question is, with all the overheads that you have, additional overheads that you have that competitors from other parts of the world don't have, are you able to still be competitive in your pricing when I go to the store?
Yes, actually, because what are the competitions for these? They are imported teas. And the sad part of it actually is that a number of these imported teas are just using materials from us.
Yes. So we're exporting and then...
They are exporting raw materials.
And then bringing it back.
They are bringing back the raw materials in finished product. And a tea like this from China will probably cost 3 or 4 times the price in the market. And so we have...
We've just talked about this.
Yes.
Yes. We just talked about government intervention.
Yeah.
Please listen.
Yes.
Sorry, sir.
And so we have a situation in our hands in which we will be able to compete very much with all these people that are coming in. You will find out also that the fact that we are importing anything
Yes.
means that we're exporting our jobs.
Yes.
We're exporting our funding.
Yes, I was
The
just going to
money
ask.
that will be used.
Yes, I was just going to ask you that. Would it have been of any help if the government, because of the fact that you mentioned that the teas, we do have the natural resources to actually grow this product here, would it be an added benefit if the government, if there was some sort of regulation on importation of something that we can actually produce here?
Yes, definitely.
In your field, that would actually
definitely.
be an aid.
Definitely. I think that...
Make Nigeria great again.
Yes.
I want to mention something actually.
Yes.
In the last Lagos Fair, Lagos Trade Fair, the VP was actually very much around. He was on our stand. He actually bought the tea with his own money and he said, "This is the tea I want to be served in my office." That is the sort of thing that would make Nigeria to move forward.
Yes.
When people in authority see that, okay, this is something that we have.
I agree.
Let's lift it up. Let's make it good. Let us project it.
Yes.
It's what you have and you project that people will take.
And it's not substandard. It's actually the best in the world.
Yes.
It's
I
the
mean,
best.
Moringa is one of the most popular teas globally today.
Yes.
And the fact that we make it here.
Yes.
I mean, I blend it myself
Yes.
and use it for different
I
things.
mean,
and
if
it's
you
amazing.
Google turmeric, you are going to see that it is one of the next superfood because of the fact that it contains curcumin, and this fight cancer, helps in dealing with issues of things that bring cancer, which is the positive, negative in the charges in the body that attacks the
free
muscles,
radicals.
free radicals. And so these are all very important things that we have. These are things that indeed we should project
Yes.
and we should use
Yes.
We should.
instead of bringing things from abroad that we are not too sure about.
So the Mambila tea doesn't actually have, it just says refreshing tea. Are you
Yes.
allowed to use Mambila as a brand? Have we trademarked Mambila as a country? The reason I'm asking you this is because a couple of weeks ago, it was actually on the news, Disney has trademarked Hakuna Matata, which is a Swahili word, because it's used in a lot of their films. And so they now own the word Hakuna Matata. So as we're talking about Mambila tea, how do we get Mambila tea to be a brand and own it, and that no one else can come in and take it from us?
Well, I think that what we really need to do is to look at branding of all the things that we have. I'll give you an example. If you are buying ginger, take for example, if you are buying a ginger from India, you're going to see the branding of the ginger. And they brand the ginger in such a way that it's able to to command a premium. Okay? Now, what are we doing with our own ginger? It's just a bit of a digression. What we do actually is that we take the ginger. Our ginger actually is the best in the world because it has a very high level of oleoresin, which is the ginger oil inside it. And so other countries come and buy our ginger, take it to their country, and process it into the oleoresin and export it to the US and to Europe and all that. This is what is happening. Because ginger contains.
You want to go? You want to go to? You want to go? She's gonna go. She's gonna start making Olisari. Thank you so much for being here. So branding is one of the key things we need to do. We've already complimented the government on their intervention with the 5% loans. And once again, guys, get these teas, local teas in your market.
Very good, very good tea.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate having you.
Thank you.
It's time now for a break. When we come back, Yemisi Adegoke, multimedia journalist and producer at BBC Africa, will be joining us to review the top newspaper headlines from around the country. Stay with us.